Hey guys, so I know that I posted the video of asking questions a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Life has just kind of taken hold here, and I haven't had time to make a video because I'm just really busy. So I apologize. So I'm going to do it now. So I'll start with the questions on my YouTube video, and then I'll go to the emails, and I'll try to just keep them brief. There aren't that many anyways, but the first one is, if you were to do it all over again, would you still want to live in an RV? Yeah, and we would want to do it way sooner, because I don't know, it may be slightly stressful here and there, but it's definitely such a huge relief to know that we own everything. It would have taken us like 30, maybe 40 years, since we were a little behind on our house payment, to actually own our house. And that can be stressful because they can take that away at any time. But we own our RV, we own our truck, we have full coverage on both. If anything happens, we are so excited that it's ours, and we have the opportunity to be able to move around and give our kids educations like most kids don't get. So we definitely would have done this way sooner, and we for sure would have done it all over again. Do you have solar panels? No, I don't have solar panels. I so wish we had solar panels. That was on our list this season. As he was working at Amazon, I was on Craigslist constantly, and I found some really good deals on solar panels. However, our truck has continuously kept breaking down, and so all of our money has gone into the truck, and anything that we had on the list to get this year has been removed because it's just, we don't have the money right now. But I would love to, but no, we don't have them. How do you keep the trailer warm in the winter? We use space heaters a lot. Last year it was really cold. We were in Kansas, and the Midwest gets cold in the winter. So it was a little bit of a wake-up call. We had our pipes freeze, and then we had our water hose freeze, and it was our first year RVing, and I think we were only like a month or two into RVing before the winter hit, and like first time RVing ever. So we really did get a wake-up call on that. But the absolute best way to keep your trailer warm is to follow the weather. So just go south when it's the winter and north when it's the summer, kind of thing. That's the absolute best way to keep your trailer warm. But other than that, we use space heaters. We only have 2 space heaters now. We have the flat one on our wall that's 400 watts, and then we just have a really small one that goes wherever we need it to. It's usually downstairs. My oldest really likes to have it like direct heat on him. Our central propane heating is very efficient and works great. We also, if it hasn't gotten terribly cold here yet, but we do have insulation for the windows that we put on all of the windows and make sure it's just more insulation. And you can go and get a huge massive roll at places like Lowe's and Home Depot, and it's called Reflectix. And it's kind of like, well, it's like the sun visors that you put in your vehicles. It's made of that stuff, and it works great. There is a huge difference when you use that stuff and when you don't. Also, just a quick tidbit, if you're going to use that stuff and keep your trailer insulated in the winter, having a dehumidifier is like paramount, because condensation can build up really fast, and it's just awful for your trailer. Mold will start, and it's just a whole new place you just don't want to walk into. So pick up a dehumidifier. Did you say you were going to get a piece of property for a tiny house? If so, when? Yeah, We did. That's our dream. That's our goal. When we first started on this whole RV full-time thing, our goal was to go around and see where we wanted to live and where we wanted to raise our children and potentially have more children. It hasn't really worked out like that. We really, really, really love Oregon and Washington area, so we're not really looking anywhere else per se, I guess. But we haven't even been to Oregon and Washington. We've been like to southern Oregon, just like the tip of the bottom to get to Illinois a few months ago. But I would not consider that being in Oregon to explore places to live. That is the goal. We were trying horribly to save money to buy some land because we don't want to put money down on land and have to continue to pay for it. We want to be completely debt-free. We want to pay everything off up front. We just can't do it anymore. We just can't get in debt. So we're just waiting until we have the money. But yes, Oregon and Washington is the goal, that general area. Let's see. Do you find living in a trailer gooseneck better than a motorhome through your interviews with others? Yeah, it works for us only because we have children. I think if we didn't have kids, then a Class C or a Class A would probably be awesome. Although we wouldn't even want anything that big. If it was just my husband and I, we would probably bump all the way down to Class B, because it's way more mobile, and the less you have, the better life is, really, when you're on the road like this. But our fifth wheel has been amazing. I absolutely love it. I would not go to a travel trailer or a motorhome. I've seen others and I've seen their setups, especially with children, and it doesn't really work for us. We are very comfortable towing a fifth wheel. I've heard stories about travel trailers in the wind, bumper pulls, and pulling those, and they're not as stable, I guess, as fifth wheels, because when you have a fifth wheel on your truck, it's more like one whole vehicle instead of two pieces connected like a bumper pull would be. And the motorhomes are just too fancy and big for us, I guess. I don't think we would be really happy in a motorhome in general. They run completely different than trailers. And we had some friends in Texas down south by Houston that we were close to, and they had a motorhome, and just some of their stuff was just completely different, like how they even had to run their pump when they were off grid. It was weird, or even how they filled up their freshwater tank. Everything was so different. There were so many more gadgets and buttons, and I feel like the fifth wheel is so much more simple. And most of the time, fifth wheels have a lot of storage compared to travel trailers, but motorhomes have probably the most storage. But like I said, we just really like our fifth wheel, and we will probably just be sticking to that unless we get older and the kids grow up, and then we'll probably just go to something way smaller, just so we can be off grid a lot more. Let's see. So I notice here and on other channels that people like to ask questions. You just answered a video or two ago. How do you handle that? Oh, so like, how do I handle repeated questions? I don't. I'm like not the greatest YouTube channel holder because sometimes I just don't respond to them. Like, I'll log on really fast and read them but won't have time to respond. I'm a mom of two small, very, very needy children, so I typically just don't answer everyone, or I'll do a really quick answer, or sometimes really awesome other viewers will just answer that for me, which is awesome. But if people really have a question that they would like to know, emailing me is the #1 way to get me to respond to you, because I probably check my email more often than anything else, because especially now that we're on the hunt for another job, so I'm constantly like, has someone email me back with an interview or anything like that, or an invite to go to their campground and work. So I don't answer them all the time, and that's probably awful. Let's see. My husband and I have been flirting with the idea of full-time RV life. We have 4 kids. I am curious if you have run into any issues finding work camping jobs due to the fact that you have children. Yeah, a lot. There are definitely some campgrounds that won't take you just because you have kids. And there are a lot of campgrounds that won't take you just because of your age. There's a lot of awesome jobs that I've come across that are 55 and older only, and a lot of campgrounds that have awesome jobs but are a kid-free zone, and that's mostly like coastal areas where people want to relax and not hear the sounds of screaming children or playing children. But yes, we have definitely gotten turned down for a job and not responded to if we've sent a picture of our family and our camper to them for a job because we have children. It just happens, you know, and it's also a little bit tricky because only one of us will work at the work camping job. My husband works, I take care of the kids, the house, and grocery shopping, like basically everything else. So it's a bit tricky because they typically want both of you to work, but totally not impossible. Things have generally just worked out. A lot of the family campgrounds and like really fun stuff, and there's water parks in the Midwest that hire families where only like one of them have to work. Jellystones are great for if you only have one person needing to work and you know someone wants to stay home with the kids. And if you're applying for a work camping position, try to keep it to family-based places because those are going to be your best chances. Yeah, that's all I got on that. You'll have problems, but it'll be okay. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Can you touch on day-to-day expenses like electric, propane, food, and campsite costs? Yes, I can. Our situation is totally different than other people's situations. We always work camp. We have never paid for electric or our campsite fee. So I don't really know the fees on that. I know that I have friends that pay to stay at campgrounds, and sometimes their electricity is metered, and so I don't know how much it costs for kilowatt or whatever, but sometimes that can be expensive. And depending on where the campground is, and how many amenities it has is going to vary on how much a campground is going to cost. You know, your state parks and national parks are going to be your cheapest to go to for camping anywhere, and then it just kind of bumps up from there. Just the KOAs and all that stuff. So I don't really know how much it costs to have your camper at a campground. Propane is definitely way more expensive in the winter because we use it more. We just filled up, and so we have 3 30-pound tanks, and one always sits outside and we'll just rotate it. We have 2 empty ones right now, but it's in Texas where we're at right now. It was about $18 to fill up one tank. And that was the first time we filled it up since California. So we really stretched that out, and we weren't trying to stretch it out. We didn't use it that much. We used the bathhouse here. I use the hot water heater for my boys to take a bath and for me to do dishes. But basically that's it. We haven't really used the heater that much here because it's not been as cold. Space heater's been doing great. But having an extra propane tank is always really good to have as a backup. But depending on the price of propane, it can be anywhere from like, I don't know, $15 to $20, $25 maybe to fill up one 30-pound tank. It is always way more cheaper to fill up your tanks than to exchange your tanks. Just FYI on that. Food is expensive. Food is our most expensive bill, I guess you could call it bill, per month, and that runs us about $600 to $700 just for groceries. Rude and obnoxious sometimes, and if I were sitting in a restaurant, I would be not as happy enjoying my meal if I heard rambunctious children. But not only that, we just can't afford to eat out a lot. So groceries, $600 to $700 for our family of 4. That's how much it costs us. And that is the most expensive thing that we pay every month. Long-term expenses like healthcare, vehicle trailer repairs. Oh Lord, vehicle trailer repairs. I feel like the trailer repairs at this point are so much more affordable than our truck repairs, just because the truck repairs have been sucking the life out of us lately, and it's just really unexpected. Maintenance for our vehicle, we have a diesel. We just got our oil changed, and that's about $100 to get our oil changed, and we do that every 5,000 to 6,000 miles, which comes very quickly. We can run through 5,000 to 6,000 miles within like a month or two. So maybe less than a month. When we went from California to Illinois to here, I mean, we were way past our mark, and that was less than a month. So the vehicle trailer repairs, just have yourself a little nest egg, because that stuff's going to come up. It's going to be inevitable. Make sure you have really good insurance. If insurance can help you on a situation like that, like if you have a really nice trailer or motorhome and an expensive appliance goes out, like your fridge, maybe that'll be covered under your insurance. But we haven't had major issues with our trailer being repaired. Most of it is updated. This trailer was in excellent condition when we bought it. The people barely used it, and they were the only owners. So we were very, very blessed in that sense. Our old trailer, however, was very expensive. It was an 1986 fifth wheel, and I felt like it broke all the time. So we constantly had to put money into that. We had to tear out 2 whole walls, replace those. We had to get a new roof. I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff for that. But this trailer is in great condition. So the cost that it's going to be for vehicle trailer repairs is going to depend on the shape of your vehicle and trailer. But having a little nest egg is really good. Healthcare is totally going to depend on the size of your family. There is healthcare in general is just really expensive. We took our son, our youngest, to the hospital like 8 or 9 months ago, and in Houston, and we got the bill, and I was completely thrown back. I mean, he was there for like 2 hours, and it was I think it was like $1,400. Of course, you know, you have your copays, but then you still are constantly forking out money. Our healthcare probably isn't as expensive as other ones because we do like this healthcare share group thing for Christians, but is still expensive. Living just money living on the road, that also depends. Are you traveling a lot? If you're traveling a lot, your expenses are going to be a lot more. We definitely find ourselves when we're traveling going inside the gas stations more frequently just to pick up an ice cold drink, or just to pick up a sandwich or something real quick. So that adds up very quickly. And also just the fuel, anything RV related when you're traveling is going to take a lot more fuel than you are when you're just regularly driving. We were pretty taken back at the cost of fuel when we were traveling from Illinois to California. We were so excited to get to California that we completely overlooked the fact that gas got more expensive the closer you got to the coast. I think diesel, we had left Illinois, and this was all in the last year. We had left Illinois, and fuel for diesel was like, I don't know, I think we gassed up at $1.60, maybe $1.80 a gallon. And we go through the Rockies and all that stuff, and gas slowly starts getting more expensive. And we hit California, and diesel was like $4. And I think we almost like crapped our pants because we were like, we did not calculate this into our funds at all, and we got totally screwed. We did end up asking Derek's dad or something for help a little bit to get to California because we had just not compensated for that. But if it is important to know that when you're traveling from state to state, even like north to south, you know, Northern California gases and Southern California gas prices are going to be totally different sometimes. So it's really important to take into calculation where you're driving to, because prices are going to be completely different. I mean, that was like almost a $2 difference or more that we had from Illinois to California just in diesel prices. And we had calculated our fuel costs based on Illinois prices, which was a total screw up that we completely learned from. So that's just gonna, I don't know, depend on where you're going and what you're doing. Weekly, we pay for gas like $50 we put in the tank every week. Him to get back and forth to work, me to take the kids to the library, the parks and stuff like that. So $50 a week. And we have just living costs in general. We pay $30 for our phones, and they're pay-as-you-go phones, so we don't even renew them all the time. If we don't have that $30, then we just don't renew our phones, and that's just how it is. I would say food is number one cost that we have, and then our insurances. All of the insurances are pretty pricey, and then internet is the third. We pay $135 for unlimited internet every month, and and then other than that, it's just we have I've got a stamps.com subscription, so I don't have to go to the post office because of my Etsy account. But I mean, it's just little stuff like that we have. So that's our living costs. And typically, if we're stationary 1 month, it'll be about $1,000 for us to live monthly off of. And we'll be totally fine off $1,000. Let's see. Yes, the heat in the winter in your RV from Buddy Light. buddy, I don't know. You own a house in Maryland right now. That's cold. It's got to be cold there right now. But honestly, they're right. Following the weather is the absolute best. Insulating it the best you can. Like, we redid our floors. If we could have afforded it, we would have put a layer of insulation under the floor when we pulled out the old flooring and then put the new flooring on top, just to keep it more insulated. Because these are just the thinnest walls in the world. It is literally like living in a tin can. It's so uninsulated and not meant to live in full time. So they're just not going to hold heat as well as an actual home. Doing your windows, getting them insulated the best you can, following the weather is the absolute best. Rob, have you thought about getting a pet? No. Yes, we have. My husband has. He has actually begged me to get a dog. I have repeatedly told him no. Before we became full-time, we had 2 dogs, and we had them for 10 years together. They were like our children before we actually had human kids. And I can tell you that there are for sure times that I still cry because we don't have them. One of them had to be put down. She didn't walk very well. She was very old. We adopted her from a rescue. She was already older whenever we adopted her. We were actually shocked that she had lasted as long as she did. But we put her down before we left, and it was extremely emotional for us. I mean, even talking about this is like emotional for me. But I mean, those dogs were like our children, and I can't do that again. I can't do that again right now. I can't go there, because when you have a pet, especially like a dog or even like a cat, sometimes like they're like your kids, and I just can't emotionally be attached to another dog right now, because I'm not over the other 2 dogs that we had. And the other one, just so you guys know, was given to an adoption. They were so that dog has a new home, but I just can't. The emotions and the feelings of my old dogs are still too fresh, even though it's been a year. And it's too expensive. If we're having trouble right now trying to pay our groceries every month, having an extra cost of a pet is so not wise. So financially, it would be a horrible mistake, and emotionally, it would not be good. Can you tell us about your washer? We have a Wonder Wash, and I did a video on it a while ago when we first got it, and it's kind of a funny video because I forgot to put the lid on the top when I cranked it, and the water spilled all over the RV. And I don't know how to edit videos really, so I just left it in there and did the video. But it's not bad. You can't do big bulky stuff. So our kids need their bedding washed all the time, and we can't put that in there. So we have to take that to the laundromat, and when I cloth diapered frequently, I would put the cloth diapers in there, and they seem to get the cloth diapers cleaner than the actual washer. And I know that kind of doesn't make sense, but it really did. So I used the Wonder Wash for my son's cloth diapers more than the actual washer. But yeah, there's a video on there somewhere in my thing, on my videos. Let's see, new to the RV life. I also have 2 boys, 8 and 5. I have so many questions about insurance, places to go cheap or free. I am going to start emailing you for sure. Yeah, insurance can be expensive, just in general. Any insurance, our vehicle insurance, our trailer insurance, our health insurance, especially health insurance. You want to make sure that you're covered, especially if you have boys, 2 boys, because they seem to get hurt a lot more frequently because they're just more daredevilish. But I hope you get to RV, Sarah. This is from Sarah Short. I hope you get to RV soon, because it's fun. And especially your boys being 8 and 5, they would absolutely adore this lifestyle, getting to go places and do things that most people don't, their age anyways. Love your videos. What kind of camera do you use? This is from Dave. Dave, I use a cheap Walmart camera I got last year on Black Friday sale for a really cheap price. Before that, I used my camera that had video setting on it, and so the quality of those, my first like 10-15 videos is horrible, but that's all I had. And so I started taking my YouTube videos a bit more seriously, I guess, and just upgraded it to like a cheapy camera that is strictly a video camera and not just a regular camera. I would love a GoPro. I actually had intended, that was on the list this year at Amazon while my husband's working here, to get a GoPro. But it just hasn't happened. It's not important as getting other things done. So yeah, I don't even know like what kind of camera it is. It is a Samsung, just a cheapy camera, nothing special. I don't even edit my videos, so I don't have anything terribly cool. If I had a GoPro, I would learn to edit real fast though. Those things are awesome. Oh, I love your videos, but would you introduce yourself at the beginning of the videos? That's from Mike, One Cool Noodle. I have noticed that I don't do that, and a lot of the other YouTubers that I watch always are like, hey, this is so-and-so, or hey, yada yada. I am really sorry. My name is Crystal Earhart, and I just don't do that because I treat this YouTube channel like a personal vlog, kind of. Like, dear diary, this is what happened today. I am excited or I'm sad, you know, and I don't really like, hey, this is Crystal kind of thing. I sometimes forget that other people watch this stuff. So I will try to introduce myself at every video, Mike, and I know that I've been stopped a few times, like even at this campground, I've been stopped 3 times since I've been here in the KOA, and they're like, hey, aren't you that girl from Follow the Hearts? And no one knew my name, and I just don't think about that. I'm really sorry. Hey, it's Crystal. I will try to do that. I'm really bad about that because, like I said, sometimes I just I don't know, think that I'm just doing this video like for myself. Like even this year, I looked back at videos I did this time last year, and I feel like we were almost in the same spot, you know? We were trying to financially get off the ground with our RVing, and it's just like, this year is supposed to be so much better than last year. I don't even know what happened. I do. The truck kept breaking down. But anyways, I know, have you spoken in the past about your youngest not being the best sleeper? How does that affect your older child with them sharing the same space? Actually, my oldest sleeps on the bunk below my youngest, and he doesn't get affected by hardly anything. I mean, this whole thing could be twirling in a tornado and he would be totally fine. But yeah, Zach still gets up a lot. He's like a newborn baby. It's so random. It's not nearly as bad as it was when I think I may have made a video and inserted that briefly into what I had asked for advice or something about him sleeping. But no, he sleeps like a log. My husband and I are always like, oh, he's awake again. And sometimes I just don't even sleep because I know he's just going to constantly get up. And that's something his doctor and my husband and I have continued to discuss. So after trying everything, how much is electricity at an RV park? And that's from Derek Wise. Derek, looks like you got that question answered. Chris Linderman said it usually breaks down to $25 to $45 a month. Sometimes it's included in your RV spot. Like I said, I don't really know the cost of those things because we don't ever pay for them because we're always work camping. Let's see. Sheila B, enjoy your videos. What are your travel plans for the winter? Basically staying in Texas until middle of January, then heading to Quartzsite, then heading to California. We don't have a job after Arizona yet. Quartzsite, we're hoping to make some connections. I hear that maybe sometimes they have little hiring bits. I don't know. We'll see. We have definitely been looking. I've applied at 22 work camping spots, and I've heard back from one that said that they would set up an interview with us, but have yet to set up an interview with us, and heard back from another one that just said that they're just waiting for applications to get in to interview everyone. But yeah, heard nothing back yet. Colin asked, Colin, you comment on my videos a lot, and I love your YouTube video picture, or your picture. I think it's like you and your son, maybe grandson. I don't know, but we sold that with our old RV. Basically, we haven't had time. We haven't had time to build a smaller one. I'm the one who built that composting toilet, and it was basically I just threw together measurements and made one up. I have not done it for this one. I guess it is just kind of out of convenience / maybe laziness of taking that out and putting in a composting toilet. I don't know. I don't know. We don't use it when we're on the road. So yeah, we bought a little portable toilet. We'll be using that, and that will be composting-ish while we're traveling, because we've realized as we travel, especially from long distances like California to Illinois, that it's not convenient for us to stop and dump and deal with that. So we bought a camping toilet, I guess you could say, for $25, and you put a little bag in it, and we'll be using that composting style. So yeah, I don't know, we'll put one in sometime though. What things have you learned, both past and present, and living in the, I think you mean RV, and the others you have lived in that you would or wouldn't repeat? I'm reading the rest of your question. What are some of your regrets after living full-time in the RV, both past and present? This is from Reverend David Ham, which I know you are also a frequent commenter, and you're awesome. You're a really nice guy, too. We don't really have any regrets per se. Probably, if we could go back, we would be more educated on the whole RVing, just in general. I know a lot of you guys know, and some of you guys have even commented on how stupid we are for not Googling or YouTubing a subject before we've actually taken the RV out and lived in it, or even camped in it the first couple times. So probably just more research. We did make a lot of mistakes, but we've learned from them all just from hands-on experience, and we're not really I don't know, I guess we're just not online as much as the typical person. So our first thought is not to go online and look up something. We're like, okay, we're basically a bunch of old people like stuck in these bodies. My first thought, if something were to go wrong, has typically been pick up the phone and call someone who knows more than me instead of going online. And that's how I've always been. So getting more educated, and I would probably go online and check things out a bit more than we had. Would you have done this sooner or later? Sooner, I've already said that. Would you upgrade to a bigger fifth wheel? No. No. We actually downsized from the 36 foot to this 28 foot on purpose. We actually wanted a 26 foot. We wanted to go as small as we possibly could and comfortably as we could with family of 4. So we ended up with this 28 foot, and we just feel so much more comfortable in it than the very long 36 foot. If we were to we don't plan on getting anything different. We don't plan on trading up or getting anything else at all. We love this beautiful little tiny home that we have now. But if we were to get anything different in the future that may be just placed in our path, it would be maybe a smaller RV, maybe with more slides. But small just works best for us, and I think that we will just stick with this 28 footer. Although, I mean, if something smaller were to come up that maybe had more slides or was just a bit more efficient, I mean, maybe, but we really, really, really like this. We would never go bigger. We do not ever plan on going bigger than 28 foot. Like I said, if we do anything different, it'd be going smaller. Let's see. Not sure how to put this, but here it goes. I know no matter how good you level or stabilize your trailer, it tends to move, rock, or sway. I have walked by people's trailers and you can see that they are in it. Not a big deal, but how do you prevent it all? Well, when you're intimate with your spouse. That is the one issue why we haven't bought one. We have seen a lot of rocking in our time. Good stabilizing jacks are good. Even in like some really fierce winds, this trailer will move. Typically ours isn't that bad. Our old trailer, I mean, you just walk down the little narrow hallway or whatever, I guess our walkway, and the whole thing would just move. It was awful. And I was always really paranoid that our trailer would like tip over. I know it would not happen, but I was really paranoid that the whole thing was going to tip over at some point. And they have tire chocks. I have not used them, but I have heard wonderful things about them. They're little like X's that you put in between your two tires, and it holds the tires and keeps it from rocking back and forth. I've heard wonderful things about that, and I've definitely been in some trailers who have had some really good stabilizing jacks and tire chocks, and even I think I forgot, those things that you put under your tire, those are probably called tire chocks too, but those keep your tires from not moving as well. But I have been in some RVs that you would think is an actual house, because even in the fiercest winds, those things didn't move. But it's just the quality of your stabilizing jacks and how many you have, and are you doing it all at the right points. Like, there probably could be one under our fifth wheel, the little gooseneck part that drops down to a V or a tripod and stabilizes that. I mean, we don't have any issues. Yeah, just getting yourself some good trailer stabilizing things are going to be great. Making sure your trailer is level is going to be really really good too. Yeah, but it really does just come down to how well your trailer is stabilized with the jacks that you have. If you're really worried about the whole like intimate thing, your trailer rocking, then you're going to want to invest in those tire chocks, the little X ones, and then the tire chocks that you put under your tires so that those don't move. I've realized that motorhomes move or sway or rock way less than the trailers or the fifth wheels. I've been in some fifth wheels and trailers, and those are typically older ones for some reason that seem to just rock and sway. Or if you're seeing them rock and sway, it might be that they're new at camping and just don't know how to properly stabilize their RV. So getting educated on that subject is probably something that you might want to look into. It's not difficult, and if you use the right things, then you won't have any problems with your trailer moving at all, even in some really fierce winds. I don't know this person's name. Oh yeah, I do. Caroline Kane. Yeah. What's the best internet for RVing? We actually switched from, when we first started RVing in Kansas, we just got local internet. They came out at, like our RV was a house, and they connected the internet cable to our RV. I think all RVs have the external cable hookup. So you could just call your local cable guy if you're going to be there extended time, and that is going to be way cheaper than mobile internet, sorry. I think we paid like $35 there a month. It was unlimited. It was wonderful. It was fast. It was great, efficient. No, maybe we paid a little bit more than that, but if you're staying for an extended period of time, I would highly recommend just going and calling your local cable service and having them hook that up for you. Other than that, if you are not going to be on it that much, you can get little Verizon jetpacks. By far, Verizon has been the absolute best reliable internet in any location that we've been in the country. We have tried T-Mobile and Sprint, and Sprint's okay. T-Mobile was not that great at all. It was actually horrible. But Verizon, first of all, is the best that we've come across. And we did have unlimited internet for $150. It was lightning fast. It was fabulous. It did wonderful. And then I guess they bumped up their prices because Verizon in general bumped up their prices. So then they moved it to like $180 or $190 a month, and I emailed them. I was like, we can't do that. That's preposterous. We can't afford that a month. And so I got rid of that internet, which it stinks because it's the best internet that I had. I bought that internet off of eBay. You'll find lots of different private sellers selling unlimited internet for jetpacks in all different brands, and they're typically like $135 to $200 a month for unlimited. I stopped using the one that I was using, and I have been using a new one that's $135 a month, and it's unlimited, and it's supposed to have the same speeds as my old one did, but I'm noticing a difference, especially when I'm streaming or uploading videos. I'm sure this video is going to take forever to upload, but in general, it's really good, and I don't have any issues. That's what I do. We had tried the whole buying a certain amount of, I think they're like megabytes or whatever, a month, and it was too expensive. We went through that so fast. We Skype with family all the time, like weekly. We Skype with family. And that can last however long. Sometimes we like to just leave Skype up there, like especially with his mom, just leave it up there so that she can like see into our house and we can see into hers, and it's kind of like we're in the same place kind of thing. But all that just adds up too quickly, so we just needed unlimited internet. That's the best. There is this thing called I forgot. It's through Sprint. Sprint has a new unlimited internet, mobile internet thing going around, and it's $50 a month, but it's Sprint, and you want to make sure you have it in your area if you're going to be there. I'm sure you could Google it and just look up Sprint Unlimited Wireless Mobile, but it's new. They just came out with it last month, maybe a month and a half ago. I haven't heard any reviews on it yet. Most people I know use Verizon, but it's definitely an option. So, other question, would you, if you have your generator running at Walmart, would you leave it running while you went into the store or somewhere? No, I personally wouldn't. And some Walmarts actually scare me. We've been to one Walmart in Klamath Falls, and it was probably the scariest Walmart parking lot we had ever been in, and we literally were so tired, and it was so dark that we couldn't find anywhere else to stay. But I don't know what happened in that area, but there were so many homeless people living in their vehicles, which was absolutely wonderful for like the little ministry thing that we do for homeless people, and just praying with them and loving on them and talking to them and being a shoulder for them to talk to. But it was also really scary because those people were desperate, and you could see it in their face and you could hear it in their voice. They were just desperate. And that night we had actually had someone try to break into our truck. I mean, while we were sleeping in our RVs connected to our truck, they tried to break in, and it was just, I didn't even sleep that night. It was so uncomfortable. But people steal stuff all the time because they're just desperate. But I would never leave anything like that out to for someone to see without me being around, because it's just too much of a temptation for people that don't have a conscience right now. So I personally wouldn't. And just in general, if you're going to use a generator at a place like a Walmart or a truck stop, just make sure you're courteous. We've had people next to us use generators, and it's been fine. They turn it off at a decent time. But usually when you're in those places, people are very tired. They're going just to those spots to sleep and then get up and leave, so they're not really going to want to hear a generator the entire time. I can understand why you would just want to leave it on, especially if you're charging things and such. But it's just unfortunate. We just live in a world where you can't trust people, and people are shady. They're just really shady. So I would not leave my generator on and not be near the area, because it's just too much of a temptation for people. And typically I don't have a generator, I don't have solar panels or anything, but if I did have a generator and I ran it at a Walmart or a truck stop, I would have my door open and I would have my windows open. People around me, so if they tried to do something, it would not end well for them. But that's just my advice. This is Crystal again. I think that was all the questions. The absolute best way for you guys to get a hold of me is email, and I always put my email in the description box thing, but I typically don't respond in a timely manner to my comments, and I'm so sorry. I'm a mom and a wife, and I need to put those things before getting online first, and my children really don't like it when I'm online, especially when they're awake. It's stealing their time, and I agree. So sometimes when they're like, when my son's napping or when my other son's playing with a friend, I'll go on YouTube and just look over the comments, and sometimes respond, but email is always the absolute best way, because when I'm looking at them at night, I can respond when everyone's asleep. But the comments on my YouTube channel get a bit overwhelming because they're consistent and they just keep coming and coming and coming, and only a few people email me, so I can get back to those people very quickly. But yep, that's all I have, and I'm so sorry this video was long. I may chop it into two if I can figure that out. But thank you so much for watching, and I will try to introduce myself a lot more often so you guys actually know who I am when you stop me. You're not like, hey, are you that girl from Follow the Hearts? You can say, hey, you're Crystal, right? So, all right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.